What's going on to you, Sagittarius out there? Hope y'all are having a great day. Listen, smash the like button, right, so that you can get more connected into the energy of this reading. And if you would like to, you can also go ahead and leave a comment so that you can also get even more connected to this reading. So look, into the energy. So for you, Sagittarius, you have the Strength, Eight of Pentacles, and you have the Queen of Cups. So these three cards right here for you, Sagittarius, a lot of you very much so are good. What I mean by that is that the strength, you're exhibiting a lot of strength, resilience. You are learning how to control your vices, right? The things that you may want to do as far as lashing out when it comes to interactions that you're having with others. A lot of you Sagittarius are actually not doing those things. You could, but a lot of you Sagittarius are actually choosing to not do those things, which goes to show how much discipline you actually have. The Eight of Pentacles is about you Sagittarius choosing to go a better route. And the route that you're taking is, a lot of you Sagittarius are deciding to not really, like I said, not go that too much of a dark route and really do or say anything too disrespectful or something that you're going to regret. The Eight of Pentacles represents you Sagittarius understand that, you're addition by subtraction. Like I say, addition by subtraction. You are better off without a particular person or without anyone in general, right? Because let's take the actual person out of it. Let's talk about the idea. You're better off without anyone, right, in general, that would be in your life and all they do is stress you out. They're socially awkward. They don't really have a lot of money, and I know a lot of times people get caught up with the money thing, but the reason why they don't have them any kind of money is because they make terrible decisions. They don't really have a long experience making very good decisions. So because of it, they're not really built. They're not really functional enough to make good decisions. A lot of you Sagittarius are definitely proud that you don't have even the urge to be around that type of person, right? Who has that type of idea or ideology, that type of indoctrination about themselves, that philosophy, that way of thinking. And this is what the Strength card was also referring to, because we can become addicted. We can have a habit of doing those things when we, even the terrible habits. This is why it is that we have to control our habits so much. Is because we can have terrible habits. We can kick it where, we can make a habit out of arguing with somebody, or I should say arguing, bickering, needing to always tell somebody sometimes. And the Queen of Cups is about you Sagittarius don't have the time to do that anymore, because you have purpose. You have a sense of purpose. You understand? You have a sense of purpose. Your purpose is different, right? Compared to the way that it is 1-2 years ago. It was much more orientated 1 or 2 years ago on arguments, bickering and fighting, right? Around this time, right? But now a lot of you Sagittarius realize that that's stupid, because that in on itself too is a waste of your time. So then now you have the Knight of Wands, right? And the Knight of Wands represents you realize that you Sagittarius have better things to do with your life than to be wasting it trying to interact or socialize with somebody who ultimately doesn't really want to be in your life in the first place. And you Sagittarius are right. So a lot of you Sagittarius realize that it's better off you just go move on and talk to somebody else. And you're right, Ultimately, you're 100% right on that. That's what And in all honesty, that's what game is about. Game is about learning how to toughen you up for not being caught up with the rejection that you are going to face when you choose to be a person that you choose to be. That's a part of it, not being caught up and spiraling down because people are in the game. People are going to tell you no, even if they may like you. Some people so stupid. The idea is so stupid. Let's take people out of it, right? The idea is so stupid. The idea of the game is so stupid. People will tell you it's a dub for me, even when they actually don't find anything wrong with you. And then they'll double back and they'll try to delude you. Oh, you are what it is that you are attracting. It's like, well, people that you are attracting, must be some people that are interested in you. Too dysfunctional to actually keep. Then you have the Four of Pentacles. Because you, Sagittarius, understand that it's about taking care of yourself. You're not with anybody right now. You're looking. So what's the point of trying to, in general, what would be the point of not taking care of yourself? Let alone to have all the time in the world being single and still not taking care of yourself. Sometimes people who are in relationships with one another slack off because they got the other person to think about. Sometimes they may have children, you know what I mean? So they get more wrapped up in the other person and the child and, the household and the domestic affairs, the relationship between the two of them, right? And they don't understand that, but they also have to keep themselves up. So sometimes they slack off when it comes to that. And they get reminded when, hey, it's time for you to actually start taking better care of yourself. You've been taking care of me a little bit too much, and that's cool, but it's starting to make you dwindle. You may want to pay attention to who you are and what you got. Then the other person is like, oh, all right. So the Four of Pentacles is about you understanding that there's no reason why you, Sagittarius, should be looking terrible. Your appearance is off. Your health is off. There's no reason for that. So a lot of you, Sagittarius, are taking care of that right now. The Knight of Cups represents because you never know when somebody that you could potentially get to know is right around the corner anyway. And the Knight of Cups is about, people are going to think of, ultimately, you want to make a very good impression is the point that I'm trying to make. It's not about trying to impress other people, but you will have to present yourself well enough to a certain extent. The Seven of Pentacles represents, especially if you're going to want somebody, you're going to have to present yourself well enough. You're going to have to be in a certain amount of health and maintain that health, wealth, and appearance. Because that's what creates the domestic situation in the first place. That's what creates the domestic life in the first place. That's what creates it in the first place. It's having not one thing to offer, but many things. That's why you have the Seven of Pentacles. That's why the Seven of Pentacles came up. It doesn't represent just one thing. It represents a lot of different things. Not just wealth. A lot of times people talk about their wealth and then they talk about their education. And it's like, yeah, but that's cool. But how does that translate into a relationship where it's built for two? How does that translate into a relationship? Like if you're talking about you being smart. You don't need to be college educated for you to be smart and to be emotionally intelligent. If you're talking about wealth, that's cool, but are you going to share that wealth is the question. Because if you're not going to, why would somebody care about your wealth? Oh, you're wealthy. Okay, and you're not sharing any of that wealth with me. And why would anybody choose you if you're telling somebody you're not going to contribute to the relationship? Then what was the point of gaining all that amount of money so that you can get yourself into a relationship in the first place? What was the point of all of that? Unless you're going to contribute. Because if you saying that you making all this amount of money and you're not going to share it, you basically just told everybody that you're a bum. And I'm not talking about you. I'm saying whoever that is, right? To put some more game on you. Whoever does that, they just show that they are a bum, not a vagrant. They're not living out on the streets, right? They're bums. The mentality that goes along with it. It's the mentality of you don't want to actually contribute to anybody else's life and benefit anybody else, but you want everybody else who you happen to be with at the time to benefit you. And you will not that you cannot, but even when you're in a position to benefit somebody else, you simply choose not to, which is actually worse than if you couldn't. Because if you couldn't, you're not in a position to contribute, which is a whole other excuse in on itself. Because it's a valid reason why. But for you to be put in a position or in a position to be able to contribute and you're not willing to contribute, that's worse. Because it says something about your own spiritual character, right? Whoever is doing that, it says that they're terrible. It says that they come off in a sense of disrespect automatically. That's their first mode of how they interact, is using disrespect and usury. And they expect that to work. And they're kind of confused now why that's not working anymore. So now the Chariot now is about how a lot of you Sagittarius as well, you'll be able to see that within the next couple of weeks. If you come into contact with anybody, you Sagittarius will be able to see the usury, how people are trying to set you up to use you from day one. They're trying to size you up to see if you're down with being used. And this is why it is that I clown some people who allow themselves to be used, because how you just stand there and the person will tell you that they're not going to do anything and they allow themselves to happen. So the Chariot is you Sagittarius are willing to really ask questions. You're willing to ruin the relationship to be able to know a little bit more about the person. And truth be told, you really should be willing to ruin it, because a lot of the times it's ignoring problems and ignoring red flags is the problem in the first place, because it's a person unwilling to ask the necessary questions to find out. Because if a person truly is on point, Sagittarius, they're not going to be offended about these types of questions like that. You know, they may, and if they are, they're going to tell you straight up, I don't want to answer that question as right now. Or they're going to tell you what happened if they are an open book in that way. You know, I blatantly come on here like it. You know what I'm saying? It's so crazy that people will pontificate and project their satirical, nonsensical nonsense onto me, and they'll say things, right? And like how again. Sat up here and I told you why things between me and past relationships didn't work out, you know. But yet you still have some weirdos still pontificate. It's like that lets me know that you're not trying to take it up. It's a duh, because that lets me know that a person who's doing that is not trying to actually take the time to really get to know the person that they with. So they're running around dating people, but while they're still caught up in the narrative of trying to project whatever they want to project, they want to on the person that they're dating instead of actually getting to know the person. So that's a person that should not really be dating, right? So that's a huge issue that I can't get along with. Anybody who calls me anybody who cannot look at me correctly and actually be able to see the real me in my own flaws and the things that I do well, and actually take the time to get to know me without the nonsensical, without the nonsensical narratives. If they can't do that, if they project, that's an automatic dub in my book, because it's like I said, it says that they're not really interested in trying to get to know. You know what I mean? It's like they're telling the partner what their flaws are. Oh, you know, you're a player. Oh, you know, you disrespected. You always disrespecting. You always you cruel to individuals. Because I'll tell you why. So this is what the chariot is. When you are an open book and you're willing to be an open book, that really gets in the way of a lot of individuals that are looking to create a narrative. That really gets in the way of a lot of the mentality of wanting to create a narrative, because it's the mentality. It's not about the ethnicity. It's not about the skin tone. It's not about the eye color. It's not about the hair texture. It's about the mentality. The mentality of upholding this narrative of y'all keep claiming that you want to be, not you, but anyone who's a weirdo, Sagittarius, they keep claiming that they want to be in relationships, but they doing it to themselves because they can't get off of the stupid narratives that they on. So it's like, if you really want to be in a relationship, you cannot serve two masters. You have to get off the narrative in order for you to be in a successful relationship, because it ruins it. So the thing is that the Four of Cups now is about how, so you'll be willing to see who's caught up in the narrative. And if they are caught up in the narrative, Sagittarius, you're not going to cater to that narrative. You're going to leave them alone. And then you, Sagittarius, have the Page of Pentacles, because you have too much to live for. It's too good of a time for you right now. You know, you have too much to live for. So let's clarify the Page of Pentacles. That's how good I've gotten to be able to know. That's how good I've gotten. It's like anybody who I'm talking to you for a little bit, and you still pushing out narratives. What is the, like, real talk, what is this commitment to dysfunction? What is this commitment to it? You have somebody who's willing to date, right? You, Sagittarius, are willing to date. And then this person still has this mentality of, oh, I need to throw out this narrative. I need to project this narrative onto you. Why? But then they want to be in a relationship. That's one of the very things that's impeding the courting process, where they would get picked. Because why are they so committed to crab in a bucket stupidity, the mentality? Why are they so committed to that? They want to be in a relationship, but they don't want to get off of the narrative. And getting off of the narrative is how is one of the steps to get there towards a relationship. But they just, the narrative is just too, it's too good. And this is why a lot of them will stay single. This is why a lot of people won't wifey somebody up or commit to somebody who has that narrative, you know? So for you, Sagittarius, to clarify the Page of Pentacles, you have the Queen of Pentacles, King of Swords, the Fool, the Six of Swords, and then you have the Knight of Pentacles. So, you know, it takes two. Relationships takes two. You have to be with somebody, you know, somebody who's going to last with you, be with you. They have to be willing to reciprocate. They have to get off of the narrative. See, true reciprocation, by definition, is baked into the cake. It inherently means that they're supposed to already be off of the narrative of Sagittarius bad, them good. So now the Fool and the Six of Swords represents, and if they not, then you got to leave them alone. And you will meet somebody else. So life don't stop just because they decide to still be having the narrative of, oh, Sagittarius bad, them good. So that's pretty much it. Comment on the video, like the video, subscribe.